You like that? 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 You like that?
What's going on? It's Coach Williams, and I'm back for another breakdown. So today we are going to talk Nate Wiggins. He's a guy that is not getting any buzz coming out of the combine. It's partially because he wasn't able to do the on-field drills because he pulled his hip flexor, but he did that while he was running a 4.28 40-yard dash. And the film is pretty awesome, so I want to break him down because we know the roots of this channel are a DB channel. We've been talking a lot of quarterbacks, but I want to show you him going up against one of the best quarterback prospects in this draft, Drake Maye, and he had this man in the torture chamber. So let's just kick this thing off right here. We got some press man-to-man coverage right here. So we can see his press technique is really good. He stays square. We talk about this a lot on the channel. You want to keep your hips and shoulders square to the line of scrimmage. He does that, and then there's no separation. So no opening the hips early, no separation from the receiver. All right, this next press rep, I like this one. We talk about how we don't like the two-hand jam on this channel a lot, but I like the two-hand jam when you get this hard stem inside. I like it because you can turn your hips because it doesn't matter if your hips get locked out, because if he comes back when he's stemming this hard inside, he's going to have to turn right back into you. So you're going to have a lot of time to be able to open your hips back up. So I'm fine with that. Gets the two-hand jam, stays on top, and then again, look, he breaks back to the outside. And he's still all over it. If he had finished his route off, he would have been all over that route. So really good technique there. Okay, so now we got him in the slot here. We're going to see some of his technique. And so I like this right here because normally we want to keep our hips and shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, but it's middle field closed. He knows he's got safety help in the middle of the field. So if he breaks back this way and he has to turn back around, he knows that he's got help to the inside. But if he breaks out, his hips are already turned, so he'll be able to get there. But that doesn't happen. It ends up being that slot fade, and he does a good job of getting in his cutoff technique and cutting the receiver off. Again, no separation. Really good job there from Wiggins. All right, next play here. So this is one of Drake Maye's better throws in this game. So again, really good press technique, patient, stays square for as long as he can, and then squeezes the receiver to the sideline. Okay, squeezes him to the sideline, gets him, he's all over him, but Drake Maye fits this ball into a tight window, and it ends up being a pretty big completion here, and you'll be able to see it from the tight angle, just how impressive this is from both players on this one. So, ball gets up and out, and so he's in here, he's all over this, there's no separation here, gets his hand in, and then you'll see he gets his hand on the football. It's a great job by Tez Walker holding on to this thing and not getting it stripped out. But good coverage, right? So I'm not going to give him a knock on that one. It's just good on good right there. All right, so we've said we're going to do some next-gen type stuff, right? Some in-game analytics. Well, we got that here. And so we talk a lot about the speed turn on this channel. When you've already opened your hips, feels like the route is declared, but then there's a second move, and you have to whip your head around. Well, it looks like Wiggins doesn't really like to use that speed turn. He likes to do the hip flip, okay? So the hip flip is when you flip back around, and you've got to be super athletic to be able to do this. This is why most people do the speed turn. Christian Gonzalez is a big speed turn guy, and I think he's got the nastiest speed turn in the NFL. But this quick flip right here is really impressive. To be able to whip your hips back around in under half a second, 0.4 seconds, pretty impressive stuff right here. He's all over it. So we'll see at some point him use that speed turn, and we'll be able to see the difference in the speed. So really good job there. So we'll see it from the tight too on this one. He's all over it. There's no separation. Really good coverage. All right, now we can see his plant drive, and this is a really impressive plant drive rep. To be able to get downhill and out like this in 0.217 seconds, that is really lightning fast. Lightning fast stuff right there. Just put that foot in the ground, use your speed, and explode out. Really impressive. All right, now, so this was, this is the highlight play from Drake Maye, the one where he throws it off his back foot and throws a touchdown pass. But we're going to be a little bit more focused here on Wiggins. The play wasn't on Wiggins. We're going to look at his speed turn. So he gets this post route here. He's pinning this post. And so this crosser comes from the other way, and the ball ends up going there. And we can see on his speed turn, it's not nearly as fast, right? 0.517 seconds. It's much slower than the other one that he had. So I think that's why he likes to use the hip flip. Got to be a supreme athlete, though, to be able to do that. And we'll test it against, we got some data on Terrion Arnold, who we'll do in a future one, and a few of the other corners. So we'll be able to compare and contrast who has the faster one in game. All right, so this one right here, I think this is one of the most impressive plays any player in the draft has put on film. So I'll rewind back here. We get the split flow play right here, split zone. They're running the football, and so he's hung up on this block right here, and the running back Hampton gets out. And so he gets cut off by his own teammate, and there's some separation here, and it looks like this is going to be a touchdown. But he reaches a top speed of 21.2 miles an hour, gets in here, punches the ball out, and it's a touchback. And you'll be able to see it from the tight. They originally call it a touchdown, but they go back, they look at it, and it ends up being a touchback on this play. So this is really impressive stuff here. So he's out here, gets cut off by his teammate, and he gets out. He books it. And then he gets in here and punches at the football. This is a heady, smart football play right here. Knocks that ball out, and it ends up being a touchback. One of the most impressive plays, one of the most impressive hustle plays you will see in the entire draft. So now we got him here in the slot. And so this I thought was really cool. I love it when people use some of these throwback techniques. So this is a throwback technique right here. I used to get taught this. It's called the inch out technique. So you're not really pedaling. You're keeping your hips and shoulders square, but you're not, you don't have a staggered stance. So you're inching out really small 6-inch choppy steps. And so he uses that. And when he does that, it gives him the ability to transition much faster than if you're in a back pedal. So he's all over this route here. There's no separation. One of the hardest things you're going to have to do as a DB is go across the field with the receiver. We've said that a million times on this channel, and he is more than capable of doing it with that 21-mile-an-hour run that we just saw right there and 4.28 speed. Okay, so we're going to see a few things on here. I like this one because it's kind of cool to be able to see how quickly he can transition and how quickly he can get to top speed. So here, he gets into his break in 0.15 seconds. That is insanely fast. And then how quick can he get downhill from that break? Downhill at 13 miles an hour, 13.02 miles an hour. And if you look at the combine and you look at how quickly, so this is 9.76 yards, so it's not the full 10 yards. But if you look at guys, 10-yard splits, this is pretty impressive. Like, this is among like the top guys, even if you extrapolate it out to 10 yards. This is among some of the fastest guys. And he's not even in a sprinter's stance. Not even in a sprinter's stance. Like, this is really impressive stuff to be able to get out that fast. So he is explosive out of his breaks. All right, so this one feels a little bit more like a 5-10-5 drill. That's why I put it in, or a 3-cone or something like that, because he has to change directions twice. So the receiver gives us this outside stem here and then breaks back to the slant here. And so the first break, it takes him 0.43, which is a little bit slower than some of the other breaks that we've seen from him. And then 0.867, which is much slower than some of the other breaks that we've seen from him. But that's 2 breaks in one route. So again, we'll be able to compare this against some of the other receivers, but I thought that this was really impressive to be able to get in there and make that tackle. Yeah, it's a first down, but these receivers, they're pretty shifty. So to be able to move that quickly is pretty impressive to me. All right, so again, now we're seeing, I really like him because he shows a number of different techniques. So before we saw that he was using that inch out technique. And so now he's getting into his pedal, and he's also using his weave technique. So he's not opening his hips, right? So we saw him open his hips when he was in press, but that's because he's on top of the receiver. He's fighting to keep his leverage while keeping his hips and shoulders square. This is really impressive stuff. And then he gets out in the break. And yeah, it's a completion, but there's no separation. He's all on top of it, and it ends up being a tackle. No extra yardage gained. It's really hard. Anyone that's played DB knows it's really hard to play off man like that. So really impressive rep from him to be able to limit the damage of the route and stay on top of it. Boom, right in there. And it's really good technique too with this chop arm over from that hand. And then I always call this other hand that's wrapped around tackle insurance. If I don't get the football, if I use the other hand to wrap around, I'm ensuring that I will get a tackle. And that's exactly what he does. Really good technique right there. All right, this shows his ability to process and his ability to understand route concepts and formations. So now we've got a bunch set here. And so what they're going to do is they're going to lock this linebacker or star type onto the point man, and then him and this guy are going to do what's called a banjo. So he's going to have the first one to the outside, he's going to have the first one to the inside. And so what ends up happening is they both push to the same area. So now we've got 4 over 3, and he knows that he can just read the eyes of the quarterback and go to wherever the ball is going to go. And since it's the red zone, the ball is going to have to come out quickly, drives on the football, nearly gets an interception here. Really good understanding of spacing, formations, and route concepts. So let's just watch this one again, one time through. Really impressive stuff right here. Great job. All right, so now we'll see it again from the tight angle. Does a good job of just getting in there and making a break on the football. All right, so now top of the screen again. So this time he's using that inch out technique from depth because he reads the tempo of the route. He can tell that this route is not going to be a vertical one. This guy's not burning off the line of scrimmage like he's getting vertical. So he settles down, and we'll watch it one more time. He settles down and gets into his inch out, breaks on the football. Maye's got nowhere to go. He's all over this route, jumps in, tips the ball up, nearly intercepted. Really good coverage, really good showing an ability to mirror and match the route and understand, route anticipation and the tempo of the receiver. Attached all over it, gets his hands on the football, nearly picks it off. And so this will be the last play here. We're going to see him here again. He can tell that this is not going to be a vertical route, so he gets back into that inch out, drives on the football in 0.15 seconds, gets downhill on this thing, drives, picks it off. Really impressive. Nate Wiggins just putting it on Drake Maye and UNC. And we'll see it one more time from this angle here. Maye drops back, and boom, he's all over it. Interception, and that pretty much closes out the game. So, really important, really impressive performance from Wiggins against one of the top quarterback prospects. We're going to continue to break him down, and then we're going to compare him with some of the other top corners in the draft. But I don't think he's getting enough buzz because, yeah, he weighed in at 173 or whatever, but we saw he's super physical, and he ran that 4.28. So that's pretty impressive. But we'll compare him with the other guys like Terrion Arnold, Quinyon Mitchell, and then some other dudes that I think people are not talking about enough. So, that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. So as always, you know what it is. It's Coach Williams, Ball Hawks. We fly. I'm out. Peace.